Time now 6:43. After her amazing interview here on GMTV, Heather Mills has been talking to the American media, and it appears the gloves are off in the public criticism of her estranged husband, Sir Paul McCartney.
When we first split, I said to Paul, I'm going to be crucified. I'm going to have a modern-day stoning. You know why we split. You know the truth. They don't need to know the details, but you need to stand up and say, I am responsible for the breakdown of this marriage. You'll be a hero because people know it's always two parties, but in this case, it's very heavily one-sided. I said, if you say that, I'll walk away with nothing and we'll do a very gentle and quick divorce. And he promised he'd do that. I have evidence of that, and he did nothing. I have pleaded, I have begged. He knows that I was at a suicide point, and still nothing has been done.
That was Heather Mills talking to American television last night. Well, divorce lawyer Vanessa Lloyd Platt joins me now. Good to see you. As a lawyer, what was your reaction to what you heard and saw?
My reaction was huge concern. I do think she may have done damage to her case in several areas, because the whole premium of her getting a large settlement was that she was going to be quiet and he was going to pay her over a period of years for her silence. She's just blown it.
But has she talked about matters that actually the court will be concerned with?
Absolutely talked about it. You cannot talk about the detail when it's what they call sub judice before the court. You can't say, I'm not allowed to talk about it. Oh, by the way, he hasn't made me an offer. I'm not allowed to talk about it. Oh, by the way, he's not paying for my security. Oh, I'm not allowed to talk about it. But, you know, I've got all these tapes and there's all this going on and I've got so much to say.
The tapes are a slightly tangential thing.
Well, they were slightly, but the point is that she has talked about the detail and the minutiae, and you are just not allowed to do that.
So what are the options open to Sir Paul McCartney in these circumstances?
Sir Paul McCartney, at this moment in time, well, what he's done is let her rant. And he's let her rant so that she shoots herself effectively, because she has done. She's caused great damage to her case. He can now go in and he can get a blanket gagging order, which means she would not be allowed to talk at all about any aspect of their marriage, their life together, his children or anything, and that would be worldwide.
Well, you can get an injunction on the telephone. You can get an injunction in about 10 minutes, in my experience anyway. Why has he not done it?
I think that he is seeing her do damage to her matrimonial financial case, because every day she speaks out, her settlement is getting lower. Now, I think she genuinely believes that by talking in this way, she is saying to him, look what I can do, are you going to pay me for my silence? But actually it's having the opposite effect, and in law it is a very dangerous game to play. The court will be totally unimpressed by what she is doing, and they will want to gag her.
I just wonder take your hat off as a lawyer, and you're a mum as well. Think about yourself as a mum. How you regard what she's done and said as an ordinary human being. I mean, the emails and letters into this building were predominantly against her the day she first appeared. Since then, there's been an amazing turnaround. It's now completely, almost completely in favour of her.
Support an underdog. That's what they try to do. But what I would say to you is I have huge sympathy for the position in which she finds herself. She has been definitely at the receiving end of a hate campaign. There is no doubt about it. And for someone like her in the media spotlight, it's very difficult. People aren't sympathetic because they say you use the media for your own purposes, therefore you take what comes with it. But I have to tell you, acting for many, many women who are in the media, it is a horrible feeling to be on the receiving end of that much criticism. And I do have great sympathy for her frustration over it, but she has to understand there are some rules here. This is a very high-profile divorce, and what I would say to her now is, please shut up right now, because you're causing huge damage to your case. Paul's team will look at it and say, is she stable enough to look after her child? I mean, she is putting herself in that position that he can make that argument.
Keep on saying, you know, what about her poor daughter?
Well, precisely.
Who love their daddy and don't want to read about all this.
If Paul's team were going to bring in a psychologist or psychiatrist to look at the tapes and say, what is your considered view about the stability of this woman, it could work against her. So she must keep quiet for her sake and her case.
So must we for the time being. But we'll hear more from you later, I'm sure.